There are stories in basketball that go beyond the game. Promises that aren't measured in stats or trophies, but in heart. And this season, the San Antonio Spurs don't just have a new roster. They have a story that defines what it means to never give up. The San Antonio Spurs have officially set their roster for the 2025-2026 NBA season. 18 players ready to represent a team built on youth, grit, and hope. Names like Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Stephen Castle, and Devin Vassell lead the way. But behind all the headlines, one story stands above the rest. A story of love, loss, and a promise fulfilled. His name is David Jones-Garcia. And for him, making the Spurs roster isn't just a career milestone, it's the fulfillment of a sacred vow. Since childhood, David dreamed of playing in the NBA. But it wasn't just his dream, it was his father's too. David Apolinar Jones was there for every practice, every game, always repeating the same words. "Son, one day you'll make it." Before passing away, his father asked him for just one thing: never to give up. And at that moment, David made a promise. "I swear, Dad, I'll play at least one game in the NBA." Years later, through hard work, pain, and faith, that promise is finally coming true. Throughout preseason, Jones-Garcia impressed everyone in San Antonio. He wasn't the biggest or the flashiest player, but his determination, his vision, and his calm under pressure earned him respect. Now with a two-way contract, he'll have up to 50 regular season games to prove himself and, more importantly, to honor his father's memory. But his story is more personal. It represents what the new Spurs are all about: a team built on heart, defense, and identity. Coach Mitch Johnson has made it clear: San Antonio's focus this year is defensive intensity, unity, and belief. And inside that locker room, David's story has become a source of inspiration. While Wembanyama and Fox prepare to lead the offense with a lethal pick and roll, and Castle, Vassell, and Sochan solidify their roles, Jones-Garcia reminds everyone what truly matters: that nothing great comes without purpose and passion. Even the veterans have taken notice. "Watching him keep that promise, it reminds you why we play this game," said one team assistant. What San Antonio is building this season isn't just a roster, it's a culture of belief, of brotherhood, and of heart. As Wembanyama put it, "We want to build something that lasts, something that inspires." Opening night will once again be against the Dallas Mavericks. But this year, things feel different. The Spurs aren't just starting another season, they're beginning a new chapter. Because when a player steps onto the court carrying a promise in their heart, when every shot, every pass, every moment is for someone who's no longer here, the game becomes something much greater. David Jones-Garcia kept his word, and in doing so, he gave an entire franchise a reason to believe again. A promise fulfilled, a new era begins, and a reminder that in the heart of the Spurs, dreams really do come true.
In other news, in Los Angeles, the air smells like glory. The Dodgers have just sealed their ticket to the World Series with an impeccable sweep over the Milwaukee Brewers, and the entire city is preparing to witness a new page of history. But amid the celebration, one key question arises: how will a full week of rest before the Fall Classic affect them? The answer came straight from the man of the moment, Shohei Ohtani. The Japanese phenomenon, coming off a legendary performance in the championship series, doesn't just see this break positively, he considers it a blessing in disguise. The Los Angeles Dodgers didn't just clinch their spot in the World Series, they did it with authority. The sweep against Milwaukee showcased a team that's solid, confident, and relentless on offense. But after such intensity comes what many call the eternal rest. 7 full days without competition before the biggest stage in baseball begins. While some analysts fear this break could disrupt their competitive rhythm, Ohtani sees it differently. I see it as something positive in terms of being able to rest, both as a position player and as a pitcher. We've had a few days off, but we've also played very intense games that were extremely stressful. These words reflect the maturity of a player who truly understands what this moment means. For Ohtani, it's not just about giving his body a break, it's also about resting his mind. After weeks of playoff tension and pressure, this pause could be exactly what the team needs to recharge and fine-tune every detail before the final battle. Mental rest in baseball is just as important as the physical. Ohtani knows that better than anyone. During the first 9 postseason games, his batting average was just .158. But when his team needed him most, in Game 4 against the Brewers, he unleashed all his competitive fury, pitching 6 scoreless innings, striking out 10 batters, and hitting 3 home runs in a performance many are already calling video game-like. It wasn't just another night. It was the moment Ohtani reminded the world why he's a generational talent. His performance not only sealed the sweep, but also earned him the NLCS MVP title. While the Dodgers enjoy their week off, the other side of baseball remains undecided. The American League Championship Series is still up for grabs, with the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays tied at 3 wins apiece. That difference in rhythm could prove decisive. The Dodgers will arrive fresher, better prepared, and most importantly, with Ohtani fully recovered, both physically and mentally. What could be a risk for some teams might become a strategic advantage for Los Angeles. This week's trading sessions will be crucial, fine-tuning the bullpen, reviewing batting orders, and setting up the ideal lineup for Game 1 of the Fall Classic. Shohei Ohtani leads not only with his stats, but with his mindset. In a sport where patience and precision mean everything, he embodies the perfect balance between power and calm. As Los Angeles dreams of lifting another trophy, Ohtani and the Dodgers know that time is their greatest ally. A week may seem long, but for a champion in the making, it's exactly what they need. Ohtani's message is clear. Rest is not a pause, it's preparation. And when that first pitch of the World Series crosses the plate, the Dodgers will be ready to prove it.
In other news, there are nights when baseball feels different. Not because of the stats, but because something in the air tells you that you are witnessing history. In Toronto, that feeling had a king, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. The crowd roared before he even picked up the bat. The lights, the cameras, the sound of drums in the stands, everything pointed to a single moment. One where emotion would turn into legacy. It was the 5th inning. Toronto already had the lead, but the game still felt open. The Mariners were looking for any chance to get back into the score. And then, he arrived. With eyes focused and the calm of someone who understands pressure, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. stepped up to the plate. The pitcher knew what that at-bat meant, a real threat. The stadium held its breath for a second. The pitch shot toward home, and the swing was perfect. The crack of the bat was unmistakable. The ball soared high, disappearing among the crowd's cheers. A solo home run, but a devastating one. Toronto rose as one body, celebrating not just another run, but a statement of authority. Guerrero circled the bases with that mix of determination and pride only those born for moments like this possess. That home run was his 6th in the playoffs, tying the Blue Jays' historic record previously reached by only 2 legends, Jose Bautista and Joe Carter. Names that are spoken with respect in Toronto. But what Vladdy is doing goes beyond stats. Before this postseason, he hadn't hit a single playoff home run. And now, in less than 2 weeks, his name is read alongside the idols who inspired an entire generation. It's not about a technical change or luck. It's maturity. It's competitive fire. It's a player who decided to stop being the promise and become the soul of the team. With 6 home runs, Guerrero Jr. tied stars like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jose Bautista, ranking just behind figures such as Gary Sanchez, Rafael Devers, and Robinson Cano. Above them are the Dominican power monsters, David Ortiz, Nelson Cruz, Alberto Pujols, and Manny Ramirez. But the most impressive thing is that Vladimir is only beginning to write his chapter. His manager, John Schneider, said it bluntly. He's been everything we expected from Vlad. And his teammate George Springer summed it up even better. He's done extremely Vlad things. He's been incredible. The respect is no longer just for his last name, but for what he himself is building. As if destiny wanted to make it even more special, that same night, Jose Bautista was in the stadium, celebrating his 45th birthday and throwing the first pitch of the game. The man behind the legendary bat flip witnessed another Dominican matching his record in the same stadium where he became a legend. It was a live generational handoff, the past looking at the future, and the future making it clear it's already here. When the game ended, with the victory secured and the series forced to a 7th game, the cameras searched for Guerrero Jr. The crowd chanted his name. And amid the euphoria, a reporter asked the key question: "Are you ready for the decisive game?" Guerrero took a deep breath, looked at the crowd, and responded with a phrase that made history in Toronto. "They ask me if I'm ready. I was born ready, and I want it all for this city." That wasn't just an answer. It was a promise, a declaration of love for his team, his people, and his country. Because some players are born to play baseball, and others, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., are born to make history.